What do you get when you take a hit reality show, prank show, and swap out the courtroom for a corporate retreat? That's exactly what season 2 of Jury Duty tries to answer. And honestly, it took me a few episodes to figure out how I felt about it. Now, before I dive into season 2, let's talk about season 1. If you haven't seen the first season, here's the quick version. Jury Duty originally aired on Freevee, Amazon's free streaming service, and it became a word-of-mouth sensation. The concept was simple but brilliant. One regular guy is placed on a fake jury, completely unaware that every single person around him is an actor. The whole thing is filmed like a documentary, and to make things even wilder, they casted James Marsden, Cyclops himself, the actual Hollywood actor, playing a ridiculous version as a fellow juror. The closed-in setting, the trial drama, and James Marsden's comedic commitment made season 1 genuinely special. Now, season 2. Season 2 keeps the same DNA. One real, unsuspecting person surrounded by actors, but this time, the setting is a company retreat. Think team building exercises, group dinners, trust falls. All of it staged. All of it scripted. The production this time around is a lot bigger. There's more cameras, a larger crew, a wider canvas to play with. In a lot of ways, it almost felt like watching The Office. Polished, well-produced, and very aware of itself. So, what worked and what didn't work? Here's my honest take. The first 4 episodes were a little bit of a rough start. The premise just didn't grab me the way season 1 did. Part of what made the original so compelling was the physical constraint. You're stuck in a jury room, you can't leave, and the stakes feel real because there's an actual trial playing out. A company retreat is more open, more casual, and because of that, the tension and comedy were harder to find early on. You know, there's no James Marsden equivalent this season, even though there is a nice, cool cameo. I don't want to spoil that. James Marsden from season 1 was a major part of the magic. Having a real celebrity play an absurd version of himself created this layer of comedy that was completely unique. Without that anchor, season 2 has to work a little bit harder to find its footing. So, here's the payoff. Here's where I ask you to stick with it. Okay? Because as the season builds towards the end, something generally beautifully starts to happen. You watch one real person, this ordinary guy who has no idea he's surrounded by actors, start to open up, start to trust these people, start to form real friendships. And what gets me every time is this. These actors are getting paid to like him, but his warmth, his kindness, that's completely real. He's not performing anything. And in a world where so much of what we see feels manufactured, watching someone just be a genuinely good person, a good human being on camera, is something awesome to see. So here's my question. Here's something I want you to sit with. If you found out that your closest friends had been paid to spend time with you at first, but then the friendship became real over time, would that change how you feel about those relationships? And that's exactly what happens here. The actors at the beginning are paid actors, but towards the end, they kind of reveal like they generally felt real emotions for the gotcha guy. And that's essentially, because essentially that guy has to, reckon with the cameras. Something has to reckon with when he stops rolling. So I'm curious, how do you feel? How would you feel if your friendship, if you knew that your friend was friends with you at the beginning was fake, but then, he actually became friends with you and you found that out, would you still be friends with that person? How would that make you feel? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know. All right, so here's the verdict on Jury Duty Season 2. Jury Duty Season 2 is not as sharp as Season 1. The slower start and the lack of celebrity wildcard hurt it early, but it finds its heart by the end. And that heart is worth watching for. I'd give it a solid watch if you enjoyed the first season. Just give it some patience before you write it off. I'd love to hear what you think about it. I overall thought it was good. You know, like I said, I was a little bit worried at the beginning, but the end definitely warmed my heart, and I learned a lot about. I learned something from it. It actually kind of taught me about, you know, what it's like being a good, how you affect people when you are a good person and it's genuine, and you're not looking for something just for yourself. And that's what this guy is here. All right, guys, that's my review of Jury Duty Season 2, Company Retreat. My next review is going to be Balls Up with Mark Wahlberg. I'll also be recapping the latest box office numbers. So also I'll probably be watching Michael. So also too, if you've had a chance to watch The Boys Season 5, let me know. I'm watching that too as well. Let me know what you think of it so far. And yeah, like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate you watching. You know, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate every single one of you who has shown up to watch one of these reviews. And the last thing I'll say, you know, in a world where you can be anything, why not be a kind person to you yourself, to your neighbor across the street, anybody you come across? Open the door, be nice to people, because there's so much crap out there. And the best thing you can do to make yourself feel good is kindness. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Box Office Ricky. I am out of here. See you at the movies.